Now, you may be wondering how many horror stories you have when you're an RA, and I'm gonna let you know, the list is extensive.
Hey, my name is Eric. I was an RA for a year in college.
Hey, I'm Laura, and I was an RA for 3 years in college.
Hi everybody, my name is Angel, and I was an RA for 3 years in college, and today we're gonna be sharing our horror stories.
What was that? I remember about 8 years ago, I was the RA on duty, and it was really wild because usually things didn't happen, but this time I got a noise complaint. And noise complaints are really rare when you're an RA because I feel like everyone's being noisy. But on this fateful evening, I remember someone called me and they were like, yo, the dorm next to me is being super loud, can you do something about it? So I went over and the music was really loud. I was like, oh my lord, this is definitely a little louder than usual. And I knocked on the door, no one answered, but people were definitely in there. I knock again, knock, no one's answering, still loud music, they probably can't hear me. So what we do is we have like a super skeleton key that unlocks every dorm. Ooh, the power of being an RA. So I open the door and I walk in to an orgy. There were probably about 7 people, 8 people. You know what? I didn't really count because there were other things that I was like, whoa, look at that. Oh my God, look at that. It was so crazy because when I walked in the door, it was like a needle scratched because everyone looked at me. I looked at everyone and I was just like, you guys need to keep the noise down. And I just slowly closed the door, locked it, and then went about my way. I didn't really know what to do, didn't report it to my boss, but I guess the lesson of the story is if you are throwing an orgy in your dorm, play better music.
So my horror story happened about 8 years ago. I was a junior in college, and it was my second year as an RA, so I felt like I got this in the bag. I had all girls again, super ready for it, and I had one girl who was on a full ride. She was really great. Honestly, we got along super well. But as the semester was going on, she started gaining a lot of weight. And as an RA, you kind of think, okay, maybe that's related to depression. So we're trained to just kind of check in on that. So I checked in with her and I was like, how are things going? And she just said, oh, like everything's really good. I'm getting straight A's in my classes. I'm doing really well with my newish boyfriend. It's all good. I'm like, great. Not over. By Thanksgiving, this girl, my resident, tells me, hey, I'm pregnant. What? Wow, that's a lot. Okay, you're on full scholarship. Let's figure out how to keep you going. I knew that this baby was gonna come next semester. So spring break happens, we come back, boom. Baby! Baby was now living on our floor in a dorm. Not as a college student, as a newborn baby. What? After about a week of this baby being one of my residents, essentially, I went down to my resident director and I was like, look, this is not okay. So my boss goes, okay, I believe you. Let's write a report and I'm gonna send it to the head of resident directing. And instead of kicking her out of school, which is not what we wanted, they did decide to put her in off-campus housing that was safe, where she could still keep her scholarship and have this child. She got through pregnancy, birth, and freshman year with a smile on her face and straight A's. Like, if this girl can do that, we can all get through college.
So my most traumatic horror story is when I was an RA my junior year. I'm with the other RAs and we're like, you know, chit-chatting, talking, and then all of a sudden, this girl who's like 5 feet nothing, she bursts into the lounge and she's just like, oh my gosh. She's panting and like she's out of breath, she's breathing like oxygen is going out of style, and I was like, oh, she's in danger. Like somebody's after her, somebody's trying to get her. So I'm a little freaked out, and she looks at me and like dead in my face, she's like, there's a volcano of shit coming out of my toilet. And I was like, there's a what? And she's just like, there's a volcano of shit. okay, something's not right here. I'm gonna need you to take me to the problem, because at this point I just don't believe her. So she takes me through the little apartment complex, and I can already smell human waste. All of a sudden, I can literally see in her like apartment hallway, gross water on the floor. She really did lie to me. I don't have training for this. I'm gonna let y'all know. I don't have training for this. They sure don't pay us enough for me to deal with human waste in any way, shape, or form. I literally walked out of the apartment. I was like, I've seen enough. I called the Department of Public Safety. I was like, boop, 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 boop. Hello? Eventually, a maintenance man comes. It took him like an hour apparently. And so I go to follow up with the resident, and she's just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for helping me. She's just like, yeah, she's like, so have a good night. And I'm like, wait. I was like, do you not want me to put you in contact with like one of my supervisors or something like that? Like, you know, she was like, no, no thanks. And she left, and I never saw her again. So I don't know what happened to that girl, but very low maintenance resident. I guess the moral of the story here is when you're an RA, you see some shit. And sometimes it's a lot of